What's going on, everyone? Rob here with the playoff previews, where we are previewing the games for the playoffs, of course. And I'm joined by a special guest who's technically not a guest anymore because we have a new analyst joining the GBA team. Of course, that being MoxieInfernape. How are you?
Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm MoxieInfernape. I'm a new analyst for the GBA here. It's going to be fun to analyze these matchups. So we're just going to be going over all these playoff games and the matchups and or just threats on both teams in general, and what each coach needs to do to win this game.
Yeah, it should be really fun. So let's hop right into the first game this week, this playoff week.
Yeah.
That being the San Diego Chargers versus the New York Metapods. Of course, Envy versus Dan, they've played twice this season. The first one being a 2-0 win by Envy. The special mons that week being Jirachi and Togekiss for Envy. He pulled that cool shenanigans with the Gorbis and the Wobbuffet, of course.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Against the Medicham. And
yeah.
For Dan, I think Victini really shined that match. And the second matchup, in more recent memory, was a 4-0 win by Dan. Of course, that one didn't matter as much for Envy, so we're not sure if that affected the game at all. I'm sure it didn't. Dan able to sweep with the defensive Dragon Dance Mega Altaria, which was really cool. So, what mons do you think will do well this matchup?
So Dan has two big threats, being the Mega Altaria and the Victini. So it could, or the Mega Altaria could set up on things like Togekiss or Gyarados or Keldeo maybe. Like I think I was able to set up last time on Togekiss, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, with some para hacks, I think. Worked around that. Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
So it could set up, and then a Scarfed Victini could. It gets just a lot of things to hit his team. It can hit Togekiss, Gyarados with a nice Fusion Bolt. It can just spam V-Create against a lot of things.
Victini has a really good coverage for this game.
Yeah,
he brought it both times, so that's something to note.
Yeah, it's brought it both times, and it's definitely used it as a big threat that it is in this matchup. Then the threats on Envy side, if you can go with this route.
Envy side?
Yeah.
So, as we can see in the past, Jirachi and Togekiss have come to both matchups. Togekiss actually getting kills in both of those games. Jirachi just kind of sitting in the back, but almost able to do stuff. Wasn't quite able to deal with the Mega Altaria after the D dances.
Yeah, I think in the first matchup it was a special Rachi with like a lot of coverage. He's able to hit some things and be a threat.
Definitely. Haxorus always a big threat in this matchup, especially if he's able to maybe pass off a Shell Smash.
Yeah,
Gorbis.
It gets a lot of coverage to Dan's team.
Yeah,
like in the first matchup, he brought, I think, just 4 attacks with E-Belt. It was able to definitely scare Dan a lot.
Of course, Mega Ampharos being kind of like just as almost like a pivot mono, just kind of being fat the second game, which is pretty interesting. It should be overall kind of like mind games this next matchup because they've already played twice and they're kind of feeling each other's play style and whatnot. I know they know each other pretty well after Envy helped him build for the playoffs last season. Even, so he won't exactly have that this season.
Yeah,
it should be overall just a really fun matchup.
Yeah, definitely should be a good game for those two coaches. Next we have George going up against Nick. So if you want to talk about their little history.
Yeah, definitely. So the San Francisco Arcaniners versus the Boston Red Sox. They've played once this season. Kind of a controversial game, if we're being honest, with the Acupressure Drapion subbing up, and Nidoqueen can't hit a move to save its life.
Yeah, no, it missed like 4 fire punches, even with a Hone Claws.
So that was pretty interesting. Definitely should be a different game next time they meet. What do you think?
Some threats that Nick has are the Kyurem Black and the Mega Venusaur. As Kyurem, just always a threat. Gets a lot of coverage. George doesn't have a great switch-in. I mean, there aren't really great switch-ins to it in general. But, still, it hits really hard. And especially if it's Scarfed, it can outspeed non-Scarf things like Manaphy and Infernape. It could definitely be really scary and break through some walls. George sort of has a check being Fortress, but he's probably going to carry HP Fire. So it's not going to be too much. You're not going to be able to check it for too long. Then also the Mega Venusaur could just be a big threat, because George doesn't have a great way to break through it. He has maybe like Psychic, he has he doesn't have a Flying type at all. and he's gonna have some trouble breaking through the Mega Venusaur. It's just fat, and also hits pretty hard with some nice sludge bombs.
I definitely see Mega Venusaur coming to this matchup again.
Yeah, it's gonna be fat, it's gonna be bulky, and just be annoying against George.
Yeah. As for what George has, it'll be a lot. It's kind of weird because right after that game, George made a ton of changes to his team, like dropping Milotic for Manaphy and all these different things. I don't believe he has the Latias anymore
No,
either.
he's not.
So he can't hit the Mega Venusaur as hard. So I don't know. It'll be like they're playing in a different season all over again with different drafts.
Sort of,
because of how many changes have happened.
Yeah, also I believe that was George's first game with Electabuzz. I believe, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, and he's used it really well as kind of like a defensive pivot, even with the Eviolite since then. So maybe we'll see some of that happening again.
But yeah, then in the next match we have Chimpact going up against Fizz. So if you want to start that off.
Yeah, the Philadelphia Scizors, coached by Chimpact, versus the Atlanta Haluchas, coached by Fizz. We've seen this matchup quite a few times already, and how the games go, they're just kind of like a wearing down of each other, kind of scouting each other out in the beginning, and all of a sudden, just shit hits the fan so fast, and there's a big 4-0 sweep. First time, of course, being Volcania. Not exactly like that, but more so the second time with Mega Diancie. After the big Focus Blast missed by Heliolisk. Even. So I would say those are the two biggest mons to watch, the Volcanion and the Mega Diancie. What do you think?
Yeah, on Fizz, he has the Volcanion and the Heliolisk, which are both big threats. Because he doesn't have, he has decent switch-ins to Volcanion. He has Politoed, which was able to check it last time decently. But still, it could be a lot of trouble and just burn things and just help to chip down Chimpact's team and just be a threat late game. Especially if it's like Scarfed, it can outspeed some threats it normally wouldn't. And then also, the Heliolisk gets a lot of coverage. He gets like Surf to hit, like Mega Diancie, Steelix. T-Bolt's pretty spammable against Chimpact's team. He does have a ground type being Steelix, but I believe that's his only one. And if he can get rid of that early, then it could definitely be a threat with that Heliolisk. But yeah, then if you want to go over Chimpact's threats that he has.
Yeah, definitely. So the thing about Chimpact, he ended up finding an answer to Volcanion in Politoed, even though the specs overheat that Fizz ended up doing was doing a ton still to the Politoed. So that should be really interesting. I really think it comes down to Mega Diancie versus Volcanion. They've both come to both matchups, and they've both gotten their 4 kills in both matchups. So we'll see who gets the advantage this next upcoming matchup. So should be really interesting.
Then in the next matchup, if you start that off.
Yeah, next matchup. So we have the Utah Jasmine versus the Real Maril. Cooper versus Miguel. Another really controversial game from last time. Of course, the Swagger Sableye. Giving Cooper a bit of an advantage that game. So what do you think about that one?
I would say Coop, he has threats in Sableye and the Greninja. Just because Sableye can be Swagger and just, it can really hurt. It can just really be a threat, and just Hacks is just, it's hard to kind of play against Hacks with like a Sableye just constantly swaggering and just being annoying. It's hard to break through because it's just a 50-50 if you're going to break through or not. It's going to be tough, and then it's going to be good for him for Coop to have the Greninja. Gets a lot of coverage.
Greninja gets really good coverage.
It gets a lot of coverage. Can be able to hit a lot of things on his team there. It's got like Ice Beam, Dark Pulse, Skull. Just hits a lot of things on his team, and it outspeeds all of his team except for Talonflame, I believe.
So we could potentially see some Scarfers this game.
Yeah, probably some Scarfers
on Miguel's side.
From Miguel's side. All right, so
I know he didn't necessarily bring Greninja the first time, but it does have the coverage to be really good against.
He gets a lot of coverage to be able to hit some things. And then if you want to go over Miguel's team.
Miguel has the one thing that Cooper really struggles with this entirety of the season, that being an offensive fire type. Talonflame looks really nice this matchup.
Yeah.
Of course, he has the Empoleon, which I'm not the biggest fan of because I don't like my water type being not only weak to ground, but not resisted to fire. It should be pretty interesting how that works out. We could see the Aggron coming.
Yeah, maybe it's a decent check to Talon, but even
But
then.
I think Talonflame plus Weavile does a lot this game.
Yeah.
And if Cooper is able to mess with Miguel's mind, I see that as a big weakness for Miguel a lot of the time. If he gets a lot of hacks against him, he doesn't end up playing the rest of the game as well as he could potentially be doing.
Yeah, for sure.
But if Miguel keeps his composure this game, I think it'll be a really interesting match to see who could pull out the win in that one.
But yeah, those are 4 matchups this week. They all should be really good, really close matches. I'm very excited to see all of them. But yeah, everyone has some big threats in either way. So definitely, it's just going to be whoever preps and then just plays better. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see these matches.
Yeah, this is going to be a great season for playoffs. A lot of every single team has done really excellent this season who's made it to playoffs. So
For sure.
some great matchups coming up. Look forward to that. And that's been all by me, Rob, and of course we got Moxie, the new analyst here. So everyone, greet him very nicely.
Yeah, I would say we went over everything. Hopefully you guys like this series. We'll be coming back next week for the 2 matches we have then. But yeah, should be a lot of fun to see these matches, and I think that's about it. Rob, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, thank you for watching. This has been the playoff previews for Season 6 of the GBA. See you next time.
Yep, see ya.